take. I have two fundamental problems with intelligent design. Number one, I think it's somewhat dishonest. It is another name for creationism. Who else is the intelligent designer? I have the utmost respect for those who believe and admit they believe that God created life. But the intelligent design movement refuses to come clean about that. Number two, intelligent designers have provided no new evidence to show why evolution should not continue to be the science taught in schools. They offer no other scientific theories. Remember, a scientific theory is not just a hunch. It's, in this case, the conclusion of the scientific community based on evidence, fossils, peer-reviewed studies, etc. Why don't the intelligent designers question the theory of relativity or gravity? Both those theories have unanswered questions as well. Maybe it's because those theories don't upset those who want religion taught in schools. Joining me now is Stephen Meyer, Director and Senior Fellow of the Center for Science and Culture at the Discovery Institute. He co-authored the book Darwinism, Design, and Public Education and backs the teaching of intelligent design. And Eugene Scott is an anthropologist, Executive Director of the National Center for Science Education, and a strong supporter of teaching evolution. All right, Mr. Meyer, let me deal with that question first. Why just, if the problem is that you think that the schools need to teach other possibilities, why not go after the theory of gravity and the theory of relativity as well?
Well, we are a group of scientists who are interested in the question of biological origins, and the theory of Darwinian evolution, which is the standard textbook theory, is now being questioned by an increasing number of scientists, contrary to the little lead-in piece that you had. Over 425 scientists have signed a statement of dissent questioning the power of natural selection to explain the complexity of life. And many scientists are pointing to evidence, just in exactly the way you said we should be, to support the design hypothesis. Which major
scientific groups have supported intelligent design?
There are scientists at the University of New
Mexico.
Not
scientists. I asked which major scientific groups.
You've got your mind made up already.
I do.
Sir.
No, I do.
It's clear, but why don't you let me respond to the 2 points that you made at the top of the hour.
Go ahead.
You said there was no scientific evidence supporting intelligent design. Au contraire. The cell is now known to be chock full of miniature machines, nanotechnology, and digital code that was unknown in Darwin's time.
Yeah.
And there are peer-reviewed articles and books that have made very elegant and sophisticated cases for the idea of intelligent design based on these new discoveries. This is a science-based argument. And in fact, I have a book right here, if you'll permit me a visual.
Yeah, no,
This is from Cambridge University Press, called Debating Design.
Just because it's a book doesn't tell me anything.
Well, there are also articles.
All right. Look, Eugenie Scott, my understanding is that there is not a single peer-reviewed article out there that supports intelligent design. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. You are correct.
So what is Mr. Meyer
saying? That's
incorrect. I have published a peer-reviewed article, and Eugenie Scott's organization, the National Center for Science Education, led the charge to discredit not only the article, but the editor who allowed it to go through peer review. Since that time,
Steve,
8 or 10 additional articles have been published, and there are several peer-reviewed books advocating intelligent design.
Well, I think the peers may be the other people involved in this organization. But
no, this was published at the Smithsonian's top technical biology journal by an editor with two.
Eugenie Scott, let me let her respond. Let me let her respond. Go ahead.
Well, you're asserting false things.
Go ahead, Eugenie Scott.
Steve, your article doesn't mention intelligent design. Your article is an attack on evolution. Now, as far as I'm concerned,
the last part of the article is an article about intelligent design. It's a case for it. It's a positive case for design. Get on our website, viewers.
Eugenie, wait, hang on, Steve, hang on. Let her respond. Let her respond.
Having a lot of fun here, but
Steve Meyer, hang on a second. When you and I are going at it, I'll let you interrupt me, but let her respond.
She can't tell me what is in my own article.
Well, she can be more honest, maybe, about what's in the article, though. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Intelligent design makes the claim that there are things out there in nature that are just categorically unexplainable by natural cause. Therefore, they were created, designed by an intelligent agent, and nobody's fooled. The intelligent agent is God. Now, how can you call that a science when your basic organizing principle is we can't explain this through natural cause? What science does is explain things through natural cause. And the whole idea of intelligent design just completely flies in the face of that. Yeah. You can talk about refereed articles, you can talk about books, you can talk about everything else, but
you've just shifted your ground, Eugenie. You said there were none. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about that, Steve. The point that she's making is, let me ask this question, to follow up exactly what you just said. Hang on, Eugenie, it's Dan Abrams for a second. Eugenie, it's Dan Abrams. I just want to follow up on the thought that you just offered and ask Stephen Meyer.
Excuse me, I haven't finished the thought.
All right, but just let me follow up. Is intelligent design God, Stephen Meyer?
What
is intelligent design?
The theory by saying that we're arguing from
but I'm asking you, what is intelligent design? Who is the intelligent designer?
I'll tell you what intelligent design is.
Who's the intelligent designer? Who is the intelligent designer?
What the theory of intelligent design says is there are certain features of living systems that are best explained by an intelligence.
And what does that mean? Wait, that's the most circular thing I've ever heard. Who is the intelligent designer?
We do not identify the
I know you don't. That's why I'm calling you on it. I want to know who it is.
Well, let me explain.
Just admit it. It's religion.
It's very simple.
You just can't. It's religion.
You're asserting without letting me answer your question.
So respond. You're not responding to my question. Is it religion or not?
I'd be happy to respond.
Is it religion or not?
No, it's a scientific theory based on scientific evidence, and that's why we can't identify the designer. We see signatures of intelligence that can be analyzed with established methods of design detection.
I don't know what any of that means.
Okay,
intelligence with, but you know what?
There is information encoded in the cell, Mr. Abrams.
Yeah.
Digital code. If you found information, the software code in any other realm of experience, you would infer that an intelligence had played a role. Yeah. You might not be able to tell, however, from analyzing the evidence.
That assumes. Wait a sec. That assumes evolution doesn't exist. That's the problem with your argument.
No.
You assume to accept your argument is to assume first of all that evolution can't be the explanation.
No.
And then it must be.
We have concluded that undirected natural processes are insufficient to explain that information.
I get the feeling that the game that's being played here is a lot of circular talk.
Oh, that's a lovely baited question there, Dan.
Yeah, it was. It was totally.
That's not an objective question.
Have I claimed to be objective? Did I not come out at the beginning and tell people exactly what my position is?
I think it's good to own up to that,
okay.
too. Yeah.
I'm totally owning up to it. I will never on this program disguise or hide because I want my viewers to know I'm being straight with them. Go ahead, Eugenie.
Intelligent design has descended with very little modification from creation science. And the reason why they're so coy about the identity of the designer is why we're here in Dover. The Supreme Court and other courts have ruled that religious advocacy such as creationism violates the First Amendment Establishment Clause. So the intelligent design proponents from the very beginning tried to whitewash religion out as much as they could. Now, to say, well, we're not claiming who the designer is just a sham. Yeah. Either the designer is God or somebody with the same skill set. And there's no point in
and as I said at the outset, I respect the people who will come out and say honestly. I'll give you the final word. I'll give you the final word. I will give you the final word. Okay. I will give you the final word. But I respect the people who come out and say, you know what, I think that God created life, and I have the utmost respect for those people. What we're talking about here are people who are not admitting what we're talking about, and are talking on a lot of codes and circular arguments, etc. Ms. Stephen Meyer, you get the final word.
I personally do think that God created the world, but the reason that as a design theorist we are careful not to say more than we can detect intelligence is that not because we're trying to pull a sham, pull the wool over anyone's eyes. We're trying to be careful about what the evidence can establish and what it can't. The argument for design is based on evidence, and the evidence establishes an intelligent cause, but it can't establish the identity of the intelligence from the biological.
And the bottom line is, when you get any major scientific organization on your side, I will then apologize. Until then, I will continue to attack.
That's a procedural argument.
Design.
We want people to examine the evidence.
Yeah, well,
look at the evidence.
The problem is all these scientific organizations, that's all they do.
Center for Science Education.
All they do is examine the evidence and reject again and again intelligence.
You explain digital code in cells, Dan.
All right, yeah, all right. Coming up. Thank you both. Appreciate it, by the way. Stephen Meyer, you're a good sport. Beth Holloway, fighting mad and fighting back. She's talking with international lawyers, but what can she really do? How can they help her?